Hi, I'm Rachel, welcome to my channel. This week my pattern review is about capes. I've chosen 10 patterns, 10 styles to review, but before that I'm going to have a look at some trends and look at some contemporary shapes, classic to casual to functional. So let's begin. So I'm going to start with a few current capes and just to give you some inspiration and a few ideas. So these first two, the one on the left from Purdy, it's very simple, I know, but I just like the simplicity of it with the contrasting blanket stitch edging, which you could do on a boiled wool, for example, you know, something that doesn't fray. And then this shawl style from Liberty with the leather trim, so you've got leather fringing, and then along the straight edge you've got a leather bound edge, which I thought was quite interesting. That's from a new collection that's been launched at Liberty recently, Liberty Hypernova 150, which celebrates 150 years of Liberty, designed by Frida Giannini, who was the creative director of Gucci. And I actually got invited up there one evening, and she was presenting the collection when they launched it, and I saw it. It was really very interesting, and you can see the collection in store at the moment, and it's also on their website. They've got some really lovely pieces. There's a velvet trench coat, which I particularly loved. It was lovely, and some accessories as well, bags, etc., and a few pieces of jewellery. I'll link it below. These two, again, they are more like shawl styles, but I just wanted to show them to you because they're an example of placement prints. This one from Metro with a hood, and this one from Liberty, which is something very simple but effective that you could do if you had the right print. And then it's really about how you finish the edges, isn't it? Okay, then moving on to two more classic styles. This one from Gucci on the left, which I just think is so elegant, and I love the horse bit fastening at the neck, slightly sort of sculptured with a nice definite shoulder there. And then this one on the right from Caroline Herrera with a double-bested front and the slightly exaggerated reveres, both quite classic but beautiful and really elegant, really smart. And then another sort of formalish cape from Me&M, wide cut, quite full, button through front collar and welted pockets, and it's worn here over a sort of woolly jumper, but you could wear that more formally, I guess. So I just thought it was a really nice silhouette. Okay, and then we've got two from Max Mara. On the left, again, you've got this nice leather bound edging and this sort of double-breasted effect. And on the right, you've got this great, it's like a trench cape. So it's a cape, but you've got all the elements of a trench coat with the belt even, particularly like that one. I mean, there are some patterns that do a very similar job to that. Anyway, I was showing you. A country cape, I'd call this, Holland Cooper. They're renowned for their tweed and their slightly hunting, shooting and fishing sort of vibe. I thought this was particularly nice with what looks like a sort of a leather binding down the centre front, either side of the zips. You've got popper studs, and you've got a nice fur trim as well, and that nice detail at the centre back waist. Very minimal styles here from Amelia Wickstead and Me&M again that you could wear in the evening. The Amelia Wickstead one looks as if it's done in a silk jacquard, colour on colour, really beautiful, really simple with an evening dress. And then the one on the right is a wool, I would say, really elegant, very simple, very minimal, and very pared down, but quite easy to do. Moving to some more casual, more functional capes. I like this style from Burberry. I'm not a massive fan of the Burberry check, but I do like the style, and I like the way that the check is diagonal rather than straight cut. It looks as if it's got a big sort of pouch pocket at the front, and then you've got a zip opening and your hood and the toggles around the hood to draw it in, really nice. And then last but not least, this lovely style from Sassoon, the Castlewick cape, which is a functional cape, but really stylish, I think. And it's got these patch pockets with flaps at the front with the tie straps. It's got a drawstring hood. It's also got a collar as well, and it's got a really nice shaped hem. So those are just some serving suggestions. So let's go on to look at the actual patterns that I've chosen. So as we move through, you'll see I've chosen from formal to quite casual and functional styles. So it starts off quite formally, then gets more casual. So the first cape is a very easy cape to make, and it's from Our Lady of Leisure, and it is the Caribou cape. Very simple. It's, look at my notes, sorry. It's unlined, although you could line it. I'm quite sure you could cut a lining pattern for it. It's actually called it's labelled as a beginner pattern. So it's PDF sizes 6 to 16, minimal and unlined, with a round neck and a toggle or a front fastening, and it's got these front panel seams and dart shaping at the back shoulder as well, and a centre back seam. And it's a really elegant shape, actually, and nice that it's a very easy pattern. So that could be a good one if you're a beginner. I wanted to include at least one vintage pattern, and this is a fantastic one from Vogue. I just love these illustrations. It's the V1838, so it's a reproduction vintage pattern that's currently available. It's a paper pattern, it's one size, but it's, I say it's one size, it's 5 sizes in one, size 8 to 26. And you've got two basic styles here. So you've got this really short minimal one, which is really similar to the two that I just showed you earlier from Me and M and Amelia Wickstead. So very, very pared down with darting in the shoulder, front and back, and then slit openings at the front, and just a round neckline, and a very, very simple front with concealed buttons. So you've got that really clean look. And then the longer style it's the same basic shape, but it's just longer, so it's extended, and you can either make it with a slit opening or a slit opening that is open all the way down. It has a collar and it is buttoned through. I mean, you could make the short red style, actually, the minimal one. You could make a longer version of that. You could make a 3/4 one. You could make a really long one, couldn't you? So there's all sorts of variations you could play with there. So I think that's actually a really good pattern there from Vogue on the vintage side of things. Okay, this next one, I really like this. It's from McCall's. It's the M8029 paper or PDF, extra small to medium or large to extra large. So they've got 2 size sets. It's described as easy. It's unlined. It's got a wrap belt, shawl collar, or you've got a self-lined hood, and it suits wool blends, flannels and mountain. So if you had a boiled wool that was a little bit fluid, not too stiff, I think that would be a really, really great style. I actually might make that. I think with the shawl collar, I don't think I'd go for the hood, but a simple style, and again, that's quite an easy one if you wanted to have a go at making a cape. This next one, a bit more complex. I think this is so elegant. It's the Vogue V1818. It's actually by Tom and Linda Platt, so it's one of their designer patterns. It's described as average ability. It's a paper pattern, sizes 4 to 26, so you've got 6 sizes within that. Described as loose fitting and unlined, with a shaped neck and front bands, stitched hems and mitered corners. So you've got the front and back, and then you've got these sort of panels which sit over your shoulder, which form this sort of cape-like effect. I think it's absolutely beautiful, really lovely. Okay, moving on to something a bit more easy. The Stylac Bijou Cape is a PDF, sizes 4 to 36. It is described as a draped hip-length capelets stroke scarf with a scarf extension. It's got fouled seams at the shoulders, and also when you join the scarf on, the seams are fouled. It has a roll rolled edge all the way around, and it's described as being suitable for boiled wool, flannel, or wool boucle. That would just be, I can imagine that being really, really useful actually. Something you might even wear around the house when it gets particularly cold at certain times of year, or equally if you're out and about and it's, you know, beginning of autumn, it's not super cold, but you just want something to keep the nip in the air away from you. I think that would be great. So that's some style up the bijou cape. And moving on to, right, okay, so this is from Mimi G, and this is the Simplicity S9893. So I chose this, and I was really kind of inspired to choose this from looking at the Max Mara a trench cape. I know it's not exactly the same, but it's similar. It's got elements. So this is a paper or PDF pattern in 6 sizes, extra small to extra large, which equates to size 4 to size 26, and it's described as a cropped trench cape with a pointed collar, cargo pockets with inverted pleats and flaps, a storm flap, buttons and button tapes for convertible sleeves. I think it's lovely, I really do. So that's a Simplicity S9893 from Mimi G. This one, I love this one. This is the Takeo Hug Cape. It's a PDF pattern for a 31 to a 57 inch bust. It's designed for woven non-stretch fabrics, and then you would also need a batting or wadding, and you would need a lining as well. So it's a really simple padded cape with seam panels at the back, 2 fronts and 2, yeah, so you've got the back, 2 fronts, 2 sleeves, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, so 5 panels, and it's obviously quilted. I love that. I think that's actually my favourite, probably the simplest, but probably my favourite out of the 10 that I've chosen. In a similar vein, this is from the Assembly line, not strictly a cape, but I think just a very similar job, so I sort of snuck it in here. The Assembly line drawstring vest. It's a PDF or a paper pattern, and they actually think this have a mini pattern for children, up to 3 times extra large for adults. It's cropped, it has open sides, adjustable drawstring toggles at the waist, it has a zip front, welt pockets, an elasticated waist, and you can have a simple collar or you can have a more complex hood. I particularly love it with the hood. It looks absolutely great on the model here. I've got some sort of technical outerwear fabric in navy, and I'm toying with the idea of making one actually, particularly like that. Okay, right, moving on to, so these last 2 are more casual and more sort of functional, but they're still pretty stylish, I think. This is from Grosser, and it's the number 1097 raincoat. It's a cape raincoat essentially, with a 1-piece front and sleeve in one. The back actually has a centre back seam. You've got a hood, a 3-piece hood. It's lined, you've got welt pockets, and you've got front snaps. So it's a pretty simple style, but I think quite stylish, and a really useful piece. I mean, I go walking a lot, and I can imagine getting lots of wear out of this. So yeah, that would be quite a good addition, and it's quite practical as well, isn't it? Okay, so last but not least, I love this one, the Fibre Mood Harlem, which is PDF sizes 6 to 30. So it has a hood, centre front snap fastenings, kangaroo pocket, side snap fastenings, and it is suitable for quilted or padded fabrics. I mean, you could obviously quilt your own fabric, but it'd be a hell of a lot easier to buy it quilted, wouldn't it? So it's quite a big style. There's Popper studs fastening beneath the hood and then at the side. Great, really practical, and a really stylish alternative to an anorak or some of the outerwear that you can get these days. for doing outdoor pursuits and things. Anyway, so that was my selection of 10 capes. So have you made any of those, or have you got another cape pattern that you've made that you love? I think capes are a bit Marmite, so you might not like them at all. I'm aware of that, so I'm not quite sure how this pattern review will land. I like them. I have got a cape in my wardrobe that I've had for years. It's actually a really simple style that I do wear, and I've never got rid of because I wear it from time to time. Not that often, but from time to time. I particularly like the more casual, functional ones, and I like the assembly line one and the Takeo one very much. And if I get time at all before Christmas, it would be nice to make one, but I've got, as you know, if you watch my videos, I've got many things on the go. My Chanel jacket is nearly finished, and you'll see it very, very soon, so that's quite exciting. And I've got other things that, yes, I'm making multiple things at the moment, so I've got an awful lot going on. So quite a short video this week. I will be back next week with, I think, probably another pattern review, although I'm still working on Marie Antoinette. And some other completely different videos as well, which are in the pipeline for later this year. So please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye.